What's up, guys? Jason here, aspiring entrepreneur, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through a very simple process you can follow to hire people. Specifically, how do you handle all of the cover letters, work samples, and resumes and proposals that come into you when you've posted a job. So whether you're on Craigslist, you're over on 99 Designs, or if you're on Upwork like I am in this particular example, you need a process for going through all that information that's given to you so you know who to spend time with in terms of interviewing and whatever your next steps are in the hiring process. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through that simple process that you can copy for yourself so you don't spend hours reading through a bunch of information trying to figure out who the heck you should talk to or hire once you've posted your job. And of course, I'm also going to go through a live example. I recently just posted a job looking for a blogger for one of my blogs. So in real time, I'm actually going to analyze all those for you and then show you my process along with a live example on how to handle proposals and what to look for in an ideal candidate for your team. So with that being said, let the work montage begin. And done. So that took me about an hour. I went through about 10 different proposals. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to walk you through what I did, the questions I asked of myself, and then how I set things up for the next step of the interviewing process, which is going to be the actual interview. So I went through the written proposals, I rejected some, I messaged some other people, asked a few questions of ones who were seemed to be on the fence. So I'm gonna walk you through that right now, how to filter through those proposals. And again, I'm doing this for Upwork.com, but this really applies across the board when you're hiring a freelancer or looking to outsource for just about anything. So the first step is cover letters. The second step is work samples, and then number 3 is the interview setup. So I will get into each one of those right here. So we're going to start with the cover letters. And the goal of the cover letter is to quickly filter down who we should work on in step 2. So when you're looking at the cover letters that you get, you're really going to ask 2 questions. Is this the kind of work that I want? Because you want to remember this is their best foot forward. And then did they follow the instructions? Another way to put that is, did they respond to or actually understand your job description? So I'm going to go through a sample one. I mean, I went through 10. I'm not going to go through all 10. I'm just going to go through one that I really liked and then break down what purple elephant meant. Oops, sorry, one more. So the candidates that didn't work out. So one of the things that I recommend in one of the previous videos is you have a clear, distinct request of the people who are applying. And for me, that was in the last part of the description. I said, hey, and please include the words purple elephant in your proposal so I know that you read it. And that's seemingly simple, but you would be surprised how many people actually did not do it. So I have 1, 2, 3 of the 15 plus people, only 3 actually put purple elephant in front of at the very beginning of their proposal like I requested. So you can see here, cover letter, purple elephant, dear client. And then they can go on with, whatever their spiel is, even if it's going to be templated, at least they are responding properly to the job request. So I'm blowing that up for you so you can see purple elephant and then dear client he goes into. And so here's another example where he starts off purple elephant. And in this particular instance, what I really like about this guy's proposal is I could tell that he actually wrote specifically to me. It's not templated. yeah, this would be great. I'm a great freelancer. I do all this cool stuff. And one of the things to look for, especially on Upwork, is the difference between the proposal they give you and then their overview. Because sometimes you'll see that it's just the overview kind of rewritten, and you go, well, you didn't really put in much effort, so I'm just going to kind of whittle it down. And again, there's a lot of judgment in here. There's no hard and fast rules. I will give you one hard and fast rule, and that is if you want to make this a quick and painless process, use the cover letters as a way to whittle down who you're going to look at in terms of their portfolios. So that's what I did. I went through everyone's cover letter, and then I whittled it down to 5 people. And I only looked at 5 people's portfolios because the cover letter is just, it's really their best foot forward. And if they can't follow the simple instruction of please include purple elephant, it's totally outlandish, stupid. I know it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense until you look at it and say, well, this is a way you can instantly know if they know how to follow directions and if they actually read the job description. So there's number 1. There's the cover letter. Then number 2 is work samples. And here the goal is to just identify the freelancers that can produce the results you're looking for. So do they have relevant work samples? And of those relevant work samples, would you be happy with that quality of work if you had paid for it? And that's pretty much it. So now I'm going to go to this particular freelancer's profile and click through. So all you won't need to do is, if they don't give you a specific set of links, then you can just go to their profile and look through to see, well, what's a good work sample that represent the thing that I'm asking for. So you want to find the closest thing that you're asking for. So for me, I went and clicked on blogs, and then I went to this particular website. I actually wound up reading some of their Word documents as well. And what I really like about this particular portfolio, and the last guy did this too, is when you're looking through the portfolios, you want to see if they added this text, because this is an optional thing freelancers can do to describe what the work is. So most freelancers I look at, they'll just have other writing and then a link, and they won't describe at all what it does. And you just go, okay, well, I guess the work could still be good, but it shows a different level of detail and caring when every single piece of their portfolio has a description like this one does. So I'm just clicking through so you can see every one of her links or files to download has a very good detailed description of what the heck I'm looking at and why it matters. So if they have the ability to do this for themselves, particularly with writing in my instance, then I have even more confidence in their ability to be detailed when it comes to the things I'm hiring them for. So that's what it comes to when you're looking at work samples. And then finally, once you have that, you'll probably be looking at anywhere from 2 to 4. You'll probably whittle down one. It depends on how many work samples you looked at. And again, you can always, if you start off with 5 and then only 1 works out from the work samples, you can always go back and expand your reach beyond just looking at the cover letters. This is just a quick and fast way to get this done and hone in on who's most likely to be the top performing talent. And once you know who's going to be worth your time interviewing, it's time to test their ability to communicate and follow instructions again. So we're kind of upping it a little bit, saying, all right, can we work out here in terms of time zones, which is almost always going to be a big thing when you're hiring freelancers, unless, and even if they are in the same time zone, you want to make sure that they can actually commit to a time to show up. I mean, I'd say 80 to 90% of the value of having an interview, even if you only have one question, you just need to know, can we set a time and can you show up on time to that interview? That's pretty much it. I mean, showing up is half the battle. I can tell you horror stories of having to wake up at 5 or 5:30 a.m. and then just having 5 or 6 people not show up for interviews. I literally sat in front of my computer burning 4 hours because Didn't show up, didn't show up, didn't show up, didn't show up. Now, by the time it hit 10 a.m., you can bet I just hired that guy on the spot because he was the only person who had showed up, and I'd been awake for 5 hours already. I was exhausted. Anyway, getting off track here. So we're looking at their ability to commit to a time and communication style. So what I want to share with you is the message that I used to set up the interview. So I just said, "Hi, after reviewing your cover letter, your work samples, I think you're a good fit. I'd like to schedule a quick 15-minute interview to discuss the project and answer any questions about the job you may have. I've blocked out 4 hours on Sunday." I give my my time zone to help them figure out how to convert their time zone to my time zone. And then please just choose one of the 15-minute slots that works best for you. And this is something really cool that I actually literally just came up with today. So definitely off the cuff. And that is in not Gmail, Google Calendar, you can set appointment slots. And what this does is you can block out a time and say, "Hey, on Monday," so this is actually a couple days away. So this is going to be next week. So I'm giving them plenty of time to figure out when they can show up. And essentially on Google Calendar, you could block out a time and you could say, okay, for these 4 hours, I want 30-minute or 15-minute or 10-minute time slots. And then you can give them a public link and they can go click on which time slot they want. So they just click on the time slot that works for them. They click save, and now you're scheduled. And then when the next freelancer comes to schedule their interview, the time slots that have been taken are already showed up. And that way you are not playing the awful game. And I can tell you, this is something you want to avoid at almost all costs. The awful game of trying to juggle 4 or 5 different appointments in different time zones. And then, one person says, "Oh yeah, 4 o'clock works for me." But then you told another freelancer you could meet at 4. And now you have 2 people at the same time. Or, something gets mixed up with the time zones, which will almost inevitably happen with one of your freelancers. It's always happened to me. And what's important, if that does happen to you, is if the freelancer is willing to either own up to the mistake, or if you made the mistake, one of you two makes a mistake. And as long as the person who made the mistake is willing to own up to it and reschedule, you're good to go, because that's just part of life. Not everything's always going to work out, and sometimes we misread the conversions when it comes to changing our time zones. So definitely want to go check out that Google Calendar appointments. I'll just show you how it works in my calendar real quick. All you do is you select your time. Let's say I wanted to do it on Sunday. I do appointment slots, and I say what the appointment is for. I'm just going to say interviews. Then I'm going to choose what calendar it is. I'm going to offer 15-minute time slots, and then click create, and done. So now I'm going to click through here so you can see I share this public link, and now you have all of these time slots. So the freelancer just comes, clicks, and it'll automatically fill in their name with their Google account and they'll hit save and press OK, and they can add it to their calendar or not. And then just like that, the interview time slot is locked in and they are ready to meet you to interview. And that's all there is to it, to filtering through proposals and figuring out who you should interview. So just a quick recap: you look at their cover letters, you whittle down that list of freelancers to 5 or 7, then you go look at their work samples and look for relevant work samples that demonstrate their ability to deliver the results that you're looking for. Once you've got those lists of people who can do that, you're ready to schedule interviews. I highly recommend using the basic Google Calendar and the time slots. If you want to do it manually, message to message or person to person, you can do that too. Just make sure your initial message starts with your time zone. And I would recommend asking or requesting of all your freelancers that they work in your time zone. And you can simply say, look, I'm trying to juggle 5 or 6 different people in different time zones. When we actually work together, if I hire you, then I will be more than happy to, be more accommodating to your time zone, but I'm going to put the responsibility of figuring out the time zones on the Freelancer. And that's just, again, something to ensure that you're getting someone who can communicate with you and deliver results. Of course, once you hire them, you can be a lot more accommodating. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this video informative and actionable. If you got some value out of this video, go ahead and hit that like button. And then if you're on YouTube, subscribe for more business building and marketing tactics and strategies, just like the ones I covered in this video. Over on my YouTube channel, I'm going from A to Z on how to build a online business from scratch. I'm documenting the whole journey in videos just like this one, doing things live and then showing you my systems and my methods, my successes and my failures. And I would really love it if you came over and joined me on the journey. We're definitely learning a lot and it's a growing subscriber base. Love to have you there. If you have any questions about outsourcing or freelancing, go ahead and drop a comment below and I'd be more than happy to answer it and get discussions going on best practices when it comes to hiring freelancers and building your team. So until the next video, keep building the business you love.